To ensure Scranton Products plastic lockers remain in the highest quality before installation, they should be stored in a climate-controlled environment and not stored in direct sunlight, as UV rays can cause fading. Also, lay any loose product flat, such as fillers and slope tops, and do not lean against the wall or stack unevenly to ensure the product does not warp. Check all materials completely as soon as possible. Check items against the packing list and layouts provided. If you are missing any items or have received damaged product, please contact your dealer. Before you begin installing your lockers, a complete inspection of the job site should be done. Inspect all areas in which you will be placing the lockers. Be sure to check for any variations in the wall and floor surfaces. Do pay special attention to these areas while attaching the lockers. It is important to note that if you have ordered lockers with the base, you will be able to float the base over any low spots in the floor. Shimming may be required to ensure that the base will sit evenly and securely on the floor. Any variations in the wall that the lockers will be attaching to should be addressed prior to beginning the installation. You may need to shim behind the lockers as to not pull the lockers to the wall, twisting them out of shape. Next, make sure the area is clean and free of any debris. If you are installing the lockers directly to the floor, be sure to sweep the floor area and clean of any debris. Once the site inspection and any preparations are completed, you are ready to begin installing the lockers. The leveling panels are designed to be cut to fit and assembled in the field. Leveling panels are provided to ensure lockers remain level during and after installation. If bases are not purchased, then a leveling panel must be used. Locate the 1-inch thick plastic parts of the leveling panel. They are provided in 72-inch lengths and set 1 inch less than the depth of the locker. Hardware includes 2 3/4-inch Tapcon fasteners. Lay out the leveling panels and lockers as a dry run. Make sure the area of installation is clean and free of any debris. Locate the high and low spots on the floor for the entire run of lockers. Use this point as a reference to ensure that the lockers will sit level after installation. Failure to do so will result in the locker tops being uneven and may interfere with the functionality of the locker doors and locks. During locker installation, pre-drill the lockers to floor location using a 3/16-inch masonry bit and fasten with 2 3/4-inch Tapcon fasteners, shimming underneath low spots. The locker bases are designed to be cut to fit and assembled in the field. Locate all plastic parts of the base. This includes the 72-inch front, 72-inch back, and spreaders. Hardware includes 2-inch L brackets, 3/4-inch Torx head, 1.5-inch Torx head, 1 3/4 Tapcon, 2 3/4 Tapcon, and 1 5/8 countersunk screws. Refer to your field drawings for the correct position of the bases. Attach the front 2 corners with the 2 L brackets and fasten using the 3/4 Torx head fasteners. Next, place your spreaders into position. Using an 1/8-inch drill bit, drill through the base and into the spreader. Then fasten the base and spreader together using the 1 5/8 countersunk screws. Once the bases are set up, make sure the area of installation is free of all debris. Locate the high and low spots in the floor for the entire run of the lockers. Use this point as a reference to ensure that the lockers will sit level after installation. Failure to do so will result in the locker tops being uneven. Fasten the bases to the floor using the 2-inch aluminum angle brackets, 1 3/4 Tapcon screws. The base to the wall using 2 3/4 Tapcon screws, and use 1.5-inch Torx head fasteners to attach base to base. Before securing the angle brackets to the floor, be sure to shim as required to make the base plumb and level. Once you have prepared and inspected the area and installed the bases if supplied, you are ready to begin setting the lockers. The layout drawings provided show the bank configuration. Use this to determine the location of the different banks on the job. Locate the bank required for this area. Place the bank into position and check for fit. Make sure that the bank is set square and level. This is crucial since you will be attaching the next banks to the first one. Anchor the bank into position using the 1 3/4 Tapcon screws provided. The bank will be attaching to the wall at the 4 corners Pre-drill 1/8 inch holes approximately 3 inch down and 3 inches over. Do not over tighten these screws at this time, just tighten enough to hold the bank into position. Attach the locker to the base if supplied at the front. Secure using the 1.5" Torx head fasteners provided. Locate the next bank of lockers to be installed. Place this bank into position next to the first bank installed. Locate the pre-drilled holes on the side of the face frame. You will join the second bank to the first bank using the through bolts and one washer provided. Join the banks together. Be careful not to over tighten the screws at this time. Locate the next banks required and continue joining them together. Once you have several banks joined together, you can go back and attach these to the wall. Attach to the wall at the first frame on the right side of each bank. When building an island, begin joining your first set of banks back to back. Pre-drill 1/4 inch holes approximately 3 inches down and 3 inches over in the 4 corners of the bank. Securely fasten using through bolts and washer provided. Lockers should sit flush and level. This will provide a rigid starting point. Begin setting the next bank into place, attaching side to side and then back to back, keeping the lockers level and securely fastened. If bases are provided, then secure using 1.5 inch Torx head fasteners. If bases are not provided, attach using 1 3/4 inch Tapcon screws provided. Refer to the layouts for filler location and sizes. Fillers are 4, 8, 12, and 18 inches wide by 73 inches high and need to be trimmed due to field conditions. Where attaching to walls, fasteners are not provided due to varying field conditions. Preset your fillers into place, marking locations for blocking. When installing blocking to the locker, pre-drill from the inside using an 1/8 inch drill bit and countersink before installing. Next, align your filler and pre-drill and countersink your holes. 8 1-inch fasteners are provided per filler. However, a location at the top, middle, and bottom will be sufficient. First, locate all components provided for the slope tops. This will include the slope top, 1-inch rear supports, and 1-inch steel screws. For secure installation, use the 1-inch screws provided. The first component to be installed for the slope tops is the 1-inch thick rear support. Mark the location for the rear support and snap a chalk line the entire row. Please note that the rear supports are generally random lengths, colors, and will be concealed under the slope top joints, so do not have to be perfect. Fasten the rear support to the wall using the 2 3/4 inch Tapcon screws provided. Next, take the slope top with the rounded edge to sit front of the lockers. Make sure the back of the slope top is flush with the back wall. At each bank end and center of an inside wall, pre-drill and fasten the 1-inch screw from the underside. Doing this will allow the screws to be hidden inside of the locker. Pre-drill and countersink the screws at the rear section. Fasten the slope top to the 1-inch thick rear support using the 1-inch countersunk screws provided. When installing slope tops in a corner, begin by installing the 1-inch thick rear support. Next, slide your slope top into place. Do not fasten at this time. Slide the 1-inch thick rear support to the wall and using the slope top, scribe a line into the rear support. At this time, you can mark and fasten blocking under the inside corner. This will prevent your other section from bowing. Take your rear support and cut along your scribe line. Set your slope top piece back into place and pre-drill and fasten using the 1-inch countersunk screws provided. The first step when installing slope tops in an island is to fasten the rear supports together using the 1.5 inch Torx head fasteners provided. Once the rear supports are fastened together, begin setting them into position. Pre-drill from the inside of the cabinet to the underside of the combined 1-inch rear supports. Next, fasten from the inside of the cabinet using the 1.5" Torx head fasteners provided. Slope tops are provided in full length runs. The adjacent slope tops will butt up against each other. End panels are provided on open ends. These panels are 1/2 inch thick and are designed to be attached to the end runs where the side of the lockers are exposed. Begin by aligning your end panel with the locker. Next, pre-drill from the inside of the lockers and into the end panel. Note: do not pre-drill all the way through the end panel. Next, fasten the end panel from the inside of the locker using the 1-inch stainless steel screws provided. If your lockers are provided with Scranton Products bases and or slope tops, the end panels will be detailed to conceal these. Trim is a finishing product to be installed on the lockers that are recessed into the wall. Trim is provided at the side and top of the lockers. Trim pieces are provided in full lengths and will require cutting to size in the field. Line up the trim flush with the lockers and pre-drill from inside of the locker. Next, fasten the trim into place using the number 8 screws provided. There are 3 ways trim can be installed. 1, where the top runs the full length. 2nd, the side extends the full length. Or 3rd, a mitered corner. Locate the 2 pieces of side trim. These components are provided in full lengths and will require cutting to size in the field. Slide sections together. Pre-drill the sections centered in dovetail using a 1/8 inch drill bit. Countersink the number 8 1-inch hinge screw at the top and bottom of the side trim. This will cause displacement in the material and prevent the connecting piece from sliding during the installation. Line up the trim flush with the lockers and top trim and pre-drill from the inside of the locker. Next, fasten the trim into place using the number 8 screw provided. ADA kits are available to transform existing lockers to meet accessible design requirements. Lockers should be placed in an area that allows the door to fully swing open and allow for wheelchair turning radius. Please consult your local municipal and building codes to ensure compliance is met before installing kits. The kits are provided with a shelf clips, ADA sign, and rivets. The sign is to indicate which locker conforms to the accessible design. To install, take the ADA sign and locate the area on the locker where the sign is to be placed. Next, pre-drill holes using the sign as a template. Rivet the sign in place using the pop rivets provided. To install the shelf, the height requirements are based off of the finished floor heights and will be affected depending on the style of base the lockers are installed on. Determine the height based on your field condition and the appropriate code. Shelf clips are provided for the shelf to rest upon. Your Scranton Products lockers can be cleaned satisfactorily by using water and a mild cleaner, simply by wiping over the graffiti or dirt surface. For lighter scratches, you can lightly heat the surface and the marks will virtually disappear. For deeper scratches, you may need to burnish the surface with a smooth round object such as a spoon.